Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this Survivor Series Wargames review and opinions video. We're going to have to get through this quite quickly because my voice might give up, right? We did the near 8-hour stream. I've done Unseen. Now we've got this video to do. But so many thoughts, right? I would say that the match quality tonight was not too bad. Just looking at how you lot scored it. To be honest, the triple threat I thought was really good. Really enjoyed Ludwig Sheamus against Bron. You lot gave that great 76%. Bron retains. I'm not down on that result. That moment where it looked like Sheamus was going to win and Ludwig pulls him out was so good. And Bron Breakker, I mean, the impact of some of those spears just really continues to build him up as like a big star. And the weight goes on for Sheamus to get that Intercontinental Championship. I hope he gets it, and I would really now like it to happen at WrestleMania. Like, it's been built up that much, you know? Before that, we had LA Knight against Shinsuke. You lot scored that great as well. You said it was great 59%. I didn't think it was that good. I think, to be honest, that is getting a big score because of the result. I think the result is doing some heavy lifting there. I didn't think the match was all that special. So you lot said it was great 59%. Shinsuke getting the shock win. A great presentation. Great look. Obviously, maybe some concern for LA Knight going forward. I don't know that he's now going to go off to get a world title. So, yeah, I don't know. Not sure what the future holds for LA Knight. But Shinsuke, you're going to be hard pushed to find someone who's going to tell you that he didn't deserve that moment. Shinsuke, it just feels like, has been on the sidelines for so long. I'm so pleased that we're actually doing something with him. And this is so good as well. His entrance was fantastic. His aura has increased, which is crazy when I think back to his aura when I first saw him in NXT and that match against Sami Zayn. So many great options for matches for him as well. Yeah, really good, really good. But the match was okay, I thought, but you lot said great 59%. First match, I really struggled with the women's match at the start. We were talking during the live stream about how it was quite telegraphed, very choreographed. You could tell people trying to get into the right position, lots of scooching over, lots of swinging chairs, but them not looking very do you know what I mean? Like punches being pulled, chair shots being a little bit, I don't know, not very impactful. I don't know, the whole thing just felt like I was watching the rehearsal rather than the actual match. And so I was a bit down on it, to be honest. I think the turning point is Io coming in because she just does bring some energy. And so, you know, she's doing the flips with Tiffany. That's great. I'm not a fan of her putting the trash can over her head and jumping. I never have. I've never liked that spot. So it was never going to change here. But I've kind of expressed my feelings on that so many times that it doesn't matter. You know, I knew it would happen or something similar. I was probably a bit disappointed that she just did the same spot, to be honest. I thought that she might do something different this time. But, yeah, I don't know. The point is for me that we see street fights where they put the trash can over somebody and then they wallop it with a kendo stick and the person inside's getting all rattled around, right? And now, we're meant to believe that her jumping off the top, wearing a trash can, landing on a load of people, denting, I mean, the trash can gets proper beat around. Apparently that's fine. She emerges out of it absolutely fine. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how the one results in the person inside the trash can being beaten up. The other one results in Io emerging as this hero, you know? I don't know. I said during the stream, sometimes I think you have to just turn your brain off with some of these spots. And Wargames is very, very spot heavy, and certainly during the women's match. So I was not crazy about this. I think the second part of the match drastically improves. When we actually get everyone in there, I think it drastically gets better, but the first part dragged it down for me. So you lot felt similar, actually. You scored it great 56%. So of the 3 matches we've spoke about, you lot thought it was the worst one. So Women's Wargames, great 56. LA Knight Shinsuke, great 59. Ludwig Sheamus Bron, great 76. So that was the story of the first part. Obviously, we had Otis naked, half naked as well. We can't forget that. And obviously, you know, just some really fun moments like that mask that Rhea was wearing. Just looked awesome. Don't know why she took it off. And then again, they took the mask off. They held Rhea's arms back. Like, you know, you would go for the face, wouldn't you, if you was Liv, but they instead went for the body. There was moments like that where I was just, I don't get it, I didn't understand. Then, of course, we had Gunther against Drew. Didn't feel... No, Drew. I've written Drew down. I think I did that in Unseen, actually. It was Gunther against Damian. And, yeah, good 94%. I didn't really feel this match. I think it shows by the fact that I've written Drew's name down. And the fact that this is the second video I've got it wrong in. You know? So, I just could not get into this. I know they slowed it down, and I know that Triple H had praise for them. Because he was like, you know, they slowed the pace down. They kind of went really old school with this. But it really stood out as a result. Like, it's all well and good slowing it down, but then I'd like to see it like really pick up towards the end. I just never really found myself getting into it, and never really found myself like, this for me was the worst match. And same for you as well. You scored it good 94%. So with all things said there, I don't think that this is going to be a very highly scored show up until this point. I think it's, you know, there was people in our chat saying it was quite mid, saying that, like, you know, shock title change and, you know, decent triple threat, some moments in the women's match. You know, it's pretty average, to be honest. I mean, you know, maybe expectations were a bit too high coming in, but I don't know. It is Survivor Series. So then we get to the main event, and wow, this was so much fun. You lot scored it all time 46%. That's huge. That is huge. There's not many matches this year that have had the all-time rating. I think we're looking at like 3-4 matches this year. You're talking CM Punk against Drew, Hell in a Cell. You're talking night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania. You're talking, I think, AJ Cody 1. And really outside of that, I think that's it for the all-time ratings. Well, now you can add the men's Survivor Series. It was good. This match didn't feel like it was a rehearsal. It didn't feel like they were telegraphing things. It didn't feel like this was choreographed so much. And it massively helped. And just some great moments like Jacob making his way down. Like, I think was it number 3? Something like that, making his way down. And, like, it was just quite good. I mean, there was always something happening. Roman not letting CM Punk head to the ring. Punk then barging past Roman. Then padlocking the door. Roman having to climb over. The Bulldog onto the tool kit from CM Punk on Jacob. And Jacob just pops up. The tsunami off the top. The amazing Jimmy Uso splash from the top. Which really, I don't know, will get the flowers that it deserved. But so good. That was so good. Or everyone hitting their finishes at the end. Of course, the almost breakdown between Punk and Roman, Paul Heyman having to step in. It's a weird one, this, because I don't have a problem with this match getting an all-time rating. I suppose the thing is, how does that affect the score? I mean, for me, I'm probably in the 6s until we get to that main event, and then that main event really elevates me well into the 7s. So I can't decide if I'm like 7.25 or 7.5. There was no Rock, there was no Charlotte, there was no Alexa, there was no Goldberg. I mean, I was not expecting all of these things, but I did think we would get something. I did think we would get The Rock or Seth or something. And we just didn't really. I mean, outside of Shinsuke winning the championship, wasn't really much in the way of surprises. I think everything went pretty much the way it was expected to go, other than the Shinsuke result. So, I don't know. I mean, I can tell you that there is a tweet from WrestleVotes, right? And I think this sort of sums up the evening, right? Because clearly a lot of what we're saying, we're not alone in saying it. So this is WrestleVotes. Tonight marked the unofficial start of the most important and unpredictable stretch in WWE history. Over the next 140 days, the return of Saturday night's main event, Raw, is going to debut on Netflix. There's going to be a second Saturday night's main event on NBC. There is a dome-sized Royal Rumble. We're going to have the Chamber at the Sky Dome. We're going to have both nights of WrestleMania 41. So if Survivor Series felt somewhat underwhelming to you, it was likely by design. So there we go. I think the fact that WrestleVotes put this out and, you know, has obviously seen a few people kind of saying a similar thing, sort of suggests that this wasn't like a 10 out of 10. They've knocked it out the park. Oh my God, this is incredible. Although I do expect people in our chats to have felt that way, because we know that we have a very positive chat, actually. We've got quite a positive community. So there is absolutely loads and loads and loads of comments. My score for this, I'm going to be giving it around about, I think, 7.25, something like that. 7.25. Is that harsh? Maybe. Maybe. I feel pretty good about it, to be honest. I'm not feeling like, oh my god, I need to, you know, go crazier than that. But let's see what you lot had to say. Slamex, shout out to you. There is what Rhea was wearing. She looked awesome, didn't she? Right, Rodney said no Wyatts again. The show sucked. The writers are dropping the ball on the Wyatts. About to stop watching. Fire the writers, said Rodney. Well, to be honest, I wasn't expecting them because they are in a feud with Final Testament. That match was not added to this show. They haven't been on any PLEs, and I think it is by design because I think they want you to tune into Raw if you want to see the Wyatts. I do think they'll add them next year to PLEs. Whether that's Rumble or not, I'm not sure, but I think it was a strategy to kind of help ease them in, get them settled, not put too much expectation on them. Although if you didn't want to put too much expectation on them, maybe doing Nightbird was not the right idea because Nightbird was sick and it kind of built up everyone's expectations. And I do think that the Wyatt Six have kind of struggled to match that since. So very interesting. But yeah, I can't say I was expecting them, to be honest. JFB said, great PLE, gives it an 8. Nick said, the men's War Games was a letdown. I hope that Jacob is not hurt. Well, word on the street is he isn't. Three-Way Pro Wrestling Podcast said, the OGs beat the new bloodline. That was not the move. Roman being a jerk was vindicated all along. Everyone rallied around him after a huge disadvantage. Solo ate the pin for leaving him. Nothing learned by Roman, says Brandon. Wrestling King said, solid. Nakamura winning clean was a big surprise. John Elite said it was an awesome PLE tonight. They botched Jay's graphic during the entrance. It should have said 3 and not 2. 2022 last year tonight. Is this the number of times that he's been in War Games? Hopefully Jacob's not badly injured. I thought there was going to be a heel turn tonight. Didn't expect Shinsuke to win the title. And it was a cool mask from Rhea. Clay said, I loved the show. I loved Bayley's arms wiggles. I didn't see this. Bat Family Corp said, I give Survivor Series War Games 8.8. Kieran said 8.10. Isn't The Rock injured? I saw your Unseen video the other day. Not aware that he's injured, no. But to be honest, I wasn't expecting him. No, I'm not aware that he's injured. He's just been doing a load of promotion for Moana 2. So he's been going around the world promoting that. But that promotion ended a couple of days ago. So he was free. He's out and about. He's driving. He put a video out. So, no, I'm not aware that he's injured. I didn't think he would show up and do wrestling. But I thought he could come out and make it known that he is not happy with Roman Reigns. Kind of looking for where the bombshell was going to be on this show. And to be honest, we just didn't get one. There just wasn't a bombshell other than Shinsuke winning a mid-card championship. And I don't know if that counts as a bombshell. So certainly nothing on the level of Randy returning or CM Punk returning. So I can understand why people feel that just didn't quite meet the level they were hoping for. It's Harish J said, it was a great show. I enjoyed. Ryan said, I'm happy for Shinsuke winning the US title. The days of a jobber are finally over. Scott said it was a bad start, but an awesome finish. The women was botch city, except Io and Tiffany, but the men was epic. John said it was a solid 8. I enjoyed it. Great matches. Lots of great storytelling in the men's War Games. Scott gives it a solid. Crowd was flat. They were flat, which did take away from it. Yeah, they were flat. Batman said Shinsuke winning the US Championship was a nice surprise. Bron is a monster, and the War Games match was amazing. What a match. Overall, 8 out of 10. Life said it was trash. Patrick said it was a good show for me. Men's War Games was fantastic. Felt like the women's War Games only picked up from the moment that Io got in. The Intercontinental title match delivered big time. Willow the Diamond Fox gives it a 9. Margot's imaginary boyfriend said they fooled us. El Patata said, Women's War Games was great. Problem, Io Bayley have a face-off, and then the match suddenly ends with Rhea and Liv. It really needed to be an elimination match. I wanted more from Io and Candice. Rhea getting repeatedly hit with the baseball bat, but she was still okay. Shinsuke LA Knight, it finally feels like a Triple H era. The match was simple, but it was efficient. Shinsuke won every brawl with LA Knight, and he still won. He's unstoppable. Also, clean match. That's how you get a real new champion. Triple H, if you do Shinsuke right, do Asuka right. Bron versus Sheamus versus Ludwig was so good. Crowd reaction to the spear at the end. Wow. That's how you give prestige to your titles. Gunther against Damien. Great match until Finn came. Gunther looked weak throughout the whole rivalry and then won with interference. Main event, 5 minutes of Tama was great. 3 minutes of Reed was great. Jacob Fatu was great. I'm sad that Solo didn't win. Rating was 9. Otis was the MVP. That Otis moment, man. Matthew said, great show, and both War Games matches were matches of the night. And I'm still wondering, what is the favor that Punk is referencing about with Heyman? Yeah. Well, I don't think that he wants the wise man permanently, but he certainly might need to borrow him for a short period of time or get him to arrange a match against Cody or a title match. Or we know that Paul Heyman is in with management. He can pull strings. He can make things happen. If CM Punk needs something to happen, then Paul Heyman is the man that can make things happen. So yeah, I think there's a few options on the table. Nishi said it was a fantastic PLE. The men's war game match was fantastic. Gunther against Damian was great, and so was LA Knight versus Shin. However, the triple threat match for the IC title was match of the night for me. Real Phil Anderson said triple threat was match of the night for me. Women's War Games was severely hindered by Nia Jax. It hit a different gear when all 10 women were in it. Men's War Game was goods. Ben gives it a 7, said opening match started poor with few botches, but got better the further it went. Was very shocked that Shinsuke won, not happy. Oh, thought that Priest versus Gunther was just repetitive, like the one at SummerSlam. That is the problem, really, is I felt like I was watching their SummerSlam match. I think I heard it was the first match to main event SummerSlam and Survivor Series, which is very interesting. First time that's ever happened, like for a title. First time a title has consisted with someone competing at SummerSlam and then the same 2 people fighting again for the title at Survivor Series. There's probably a reason why it's not been done before. Bron, Sheamus, Ludwig was great. It was match of the night. Main event was decent. Ending was great. Randy said it was good for what it was. I enjoyed it. A lot of people are upset because of no surprise returns. I mean, do we need a return every PLE? 7, says Randy. FYI said, I miss Samantha Irvin announcing. She didn't enjoy doing it. You can't make her do something she doesn't enjoy. Most of the women's war game match was horrific. It looked like it was their first time in a wrestling match. It was that bad. Tiffany, Stratton, Io, Liv, and Rhea were the only ones that saved that debacle. 6 out of 10. I am shocked, and I love that Shinsuke's finally won a WWE title after years of terrible booking. 8 out of 10. Bron versus Sheamus versus Ludwig, a stellar match. 9 out of 10. And I still don't understand why Bron is getting this push. Priest versus Gunther was a really good match. Predictable ending, but still a great match. 8 out of 10. Bloodline match was cinema. 9 out of 10. Even though the only bad match was the first one. This didn't feel like a PLE to me at all. It was really missing something. 7 out of 10. Alex said it was alright. The wrong team won the women's War Games match. Shinsuke winning was unexpected. Gunther retaining is goods. Bron Breakker retaining is goods. And the men's War Games match was amazing. 6.5. Nathan said it was absolutely incredible. Johnny said women's war game was so bad in the opening, Io and Tiffany should have started the match. Nia, Bayley, Naomi, they lacked the intent and it was too slow. I'm glad that Nakamura got the win, but I don't understand why they made LA look so weak. No upper hand during the 2 SmackDown segments, no promos, no false finishes. Triple threat was fantastic. I hope that Sheamus will get the title at WrestleMania 41. Gunther match was all right. Gunther needed to win clean to gain back his confidence, but it's the same interference finish again. Stupid. And an all-time War Games match, but no Rock. Boo. Overall, 7 out of 10. The final match saved the night. Real Wrestling fan said, I think the Survivor Series was great. 8 out of 10. I'm so impressed with everyone's effort and passion. Congrats to Shinsuke, the new US champion. Io and Sheamus were MVPs for me tonight. White Rabbit said, nothing special. Matches were good, but I was hoping for a betrayal or a bit of controversy. Not the worst, but not the best. Callum said it was a good show, in my opinion. I enjoyed the War Games matches. I'm happy for Shinsuke. The triple threat was good. Happy that Gunther retained. Ending was an L, but I hope you enjoyed the PLE days. Well, I had a good time, my friends. I mean, I certainly don't think it was bad. I just think that it was below... Yeah, certainly it didn't feel like one of the big four, you know? But, yeah, I think they relied a lot on spots and moments to sort of entertain, but I find a lot of these moments happen and we just move on, you know? They're kind of like fast food in a way, like you consume them and you're still hungry after, you know? I've never been the biggest fan of WWE's version of War Games, but yeah, you know, it is what it is. At least we only have to wait a couple of weeks and then we've got Saturday night's main event. You know, and listen, I'll take wrestling on a Saturday every flipping weekend. I love watching wrestling on a weekend with you guys. And I'm very fortunate that, you know, coming up soon, we've got Deadline. After that, of course, we're going to have Saturday night's main event. So we've still got, even in 2024, a couple of wrestling weekends still coming up. Michael said, should have pinned or who took out Jade. Ripley no-sold the bat hits. Shinsuke won the US title. That was good. I do like LA Knight, though. Unfinished business with Damian and Finn. Men's War Games matches was good. Donna said it was a great match. We've got some acknowledging going on. Sam, shout out to you. Here's Sam Sports. Match ratings. Gunther versus Priest 3.5. Knight versus Shinsuke 3. OG Bloodline and Punk versus New Bloodline 4.5. Team Rhea against Team Liv 4. Is the one missing? We do. There it is. Sheamus versus Bron versus Ludwig 3.5. Well, there we go. So apparently men's War Games was the best. Women's War Games was second. Then Gunther, Priest, and Sheamus, Bron, Ludwig tied for third. LA Knight against Shinsuke in last place. Notorious TLJ gives it a 9. Said the title change really shocked the beep out of me. The matches were good, but the ending of the men's War Games really let me down a bit. I was expecting The Rock to come out, even Brock, but solid show. Pete said toilet, toolbox, tables, naked Otis, no surprises, LA Knight losing, great win for Rhea's team, and the mystery still continues. Finn Balor beef continues with Priest, and General was peeved off at Finn. OG, great match, and favor mystery continues. No Rock, great Survivor Series, OTC. Razzie said it was amazing. The last 3 matches banged, and a banger main event. Wyndham said, great overall, some slow parts in both War Games matches, but that is to be expected, and the endings have both made up for that. Glad that Shinsuke won, kind of a tease how they drew out those final minutes, making us think that someone would show and then not having. It's cheeky, that, wasn't it? They knew what they were doing there. Cheeky. British Wrong Style gives it a 6. Solid, but nothing spectacular. Apart from the brilliant IC match. Surprised at Knight losing, but the rest was predictable. Wanted a clean Gunther win, but Finn interfering works. Main thought is that War Games is getting stale. It needs to go back to being a rare match, in my opinion. Phil Russian said, I'm not throwing shade, but the men's War Game was so technically amazing, but the women's may make an entire episode of Botchamania. The whole show was awesome. Ryan said, the show was great. I'm going to give it 7.5. Matches were enjoyable. My match of the night is the men's War Games. I was hoping for a surprise at the end, but unfortunately, nothing. Kian said, I thought it was a solid show. Women's War Games match was okay, especially Rhea pinning Liv. Seeing Shinsuke win the US title was a shock, and the IC title match was great. I have a feeling that Sheamus will win it at Saturday Night Live. Saturday night's main event. Damian versus Gunther was okay. Main event, 10 out of 10. Kapata said it was a great PLE, new US champion. The ending was WWE at its best. Chris said it was a fun watch. I'll go with a 7. Would have given it a higher score if we got some kind of surprise, but at least the matches were excellent. So glad that Shinsuke won the title. I think it's time to acknowledge the true tribal chief, Jacob Fatu. That is the future. Shout out to Daze. Chris, shout out to you, my friends. Misty, hello, gives it a solid 8. Was a nice surprise to see Shinsuke win. No real surprises to the match outcomes for me, but I loved Rhea's mask. Casey gives it an 8. Shinsuke, the only big surprise. And Bron said it was a good show. Nothing special. 7 out of 10. Big win for Nakamura. Jacob Fatu was fire. Hope is okay. Was expecting Seth to be there at the end. Summer's Night of 1 gives it 10 out of 10. Best pay-per-view I've seen since Mania. And Chris said the women's match was okay. Rhea looked amazing. Shinsuke winning was a fun switch. Bron retaining was obvious, but a banger. Gunther Priest was the same match we watched last time. Men's War Games was good, but not super eventful. 7 out of 10 overall. So, with that being said, we can jump over. We haven't had loads of scores because I was a little late getting the poll up. So, normally we get like 360 odd. We've only had 36 so far. So, this can still change and swing, but it gives you a rough idea where we are. So, great is how things are looking. 78%. People not hating on this show, to be honest. So great, 78%. And then we had the people that thought it was an all-time show. That would work out at what? Like great 92%, which is actually really quite good. Great 92 if we add those two together. Let's have a look and see how that compares to the last one. Was that Bad Bloods that we had last time? We will have the score for that. Crown Jewel last time. Look at Crown Jewel. Great 54, all-time said 5. That was only great 59. So, I mean, it easily betters that according to you guys. I want to have a look at Bad Blood. I don't know why I've got Bad Blood in my head. That's Bad Blood is in my head. There we go. Bad Blood, 67. I think I remembered the great being quite substantial. So, 67 and then 14. So, that is great 81. Great 81 for Bad Bloods. Survivor Series currently, and this can change a lot, of course. Survivor Series is currently great 92. So, yeah, not a bad show, honestly. Not a bad show, but again, you know, you got to get voting if you want to get a more accurate reading, right? So that's it. I mean, we ran out of time. I like to try and go 20 minutes, but I knew I would give this a little bit more time. So we went half an hour. Lots of similar thoughts in there about the returns. A lot of surprise about Shinsuke. No surprises, no big surprises outside of that. But no, it seems like people were pretty much entertained. And as WrestleVote said, on we go. So really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching. And hopefully I will see you later for Unseen. There is an Unseen on the other channel, of course. But I'll have another Unseen for you later on Sunday. Then, of course, we'll be back on Monday for Monday Night Raw. We'll be starting 2 hours before so that we can catch up. I might even start even earlier, actually, so that we can really digest everything that went down over the weekend, where we are, and get ourselves set up for what should be, hopefully, a really fun show. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.